share with you is the communication language teaching. You know, students are in my class and my school, students are encouraged to use the target language to communicate inside and outside the classroom, and they use it to express themselves, and they are an important part of the lesson. And the second one is the learner-centered. You know, we are shifting from sage on the stage to guide on the side. You know that saying? And we put student interests first and care about their needs instead of lecturing or pushing the content towards students. Where they are just passive listener, we encourage dynamic relationship between teachers and students. The last one I would like to share with you is the learning environment in our school. Before I share with you the learning environment in our school, I would like to talk about assessment in our school. That assessment for learning. We use various ways to test students, especially speaking skills, as you can see on the screen, so that assessing speaking skill at the end of each semester would not a nightmare for teachers and students. So that's it about assessment. Now I will share with you the learning environment in our school. We have English club and English space. English club, we have many activities like inspirational day, where all the students share experience, learning experience with the new ones, like this. We have English club events with a lot of games, contests, and that student quiz, riddles. That student from the whole school can join. And we have movie shows on Saturday evening for students living in dorm or outside the school. We have festival celebration like Christmas, like Halloween, like that holiday. So students have a chance to participate in activity, games, and learn about culture from different countries. We have public speaking. Yeah, I would like to, our school focus much on speaking skill. So we have public speaking like this. You can see, I will play the video.
The more people around you, the happier you are. You love to be around people all the time. Yeah, and you want to be the center of occasion, like me. Now, for example, I stand here, and all of you look at me, and I'm the center of this occasion.
So that's just one example. We would like to prepare students for their future learning. So we try to make them feel confident, and they will not feel shy or shocked when they came to big city to learn after learning in our school. And next, I just share with you some activities of the English club. We also have English space in our school where students can speak English, and you see everything in our school, like the signs will written in English, in bilingual, in English and in Vietnamese. And I will share with you some global projects. So the first one I will share with you is the video exchanges. We have exchange video with several schools in the world. So the first one is this is our class in our school, and then we share the video with a school in Hawaii, USA. The topics of the video is varied, like the daily activities, the school life, the food, and the tradition. And then the students in Hawaii, they make video about the same topic and exchange with us. And then we also exchange video with a university in Russia about more abstract topics, like they ask us about some perspective in life. The second project is co-teaching. I together with Sean from New York, USA, and Elena from Moscow, Russia, we co-teach one lesson about family life, and then let's look at our classroom on that day.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down a road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant.
Yeah, that's some images from our classroom. It's easy for us to co-teach because we have the help of technology in our school. And then I just showed you some global projects we have done in our school. Next year we hope to do more with other teachers from 22 countries around the world. And we also have recording projects like this. After learning about US culture, I have a quiz about it. And then I asked the teacher, each one records a question for me like this. Yeah. She is Ravi from Thailand, and she will record a question and put on Flipgrid here. And then the other teacher also do that. So we can see each other again, and then we can download the video easily. And then I use the app Kahoot to deliver the quiz. It's really fun for students. And then we can get the result immediately. Let's look at one example. Now, I would like you to listen to him closely and then answer the question. If you can answer the question, you will raise your hand to answer me, and then I will send you the 30 questions about US culture via email. Okay, you will listen to him and choose the correct answer right now.
Hi everyone, my name is Matthew Hume, and I am bringing you greetings from Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, in Indianapolis, Indiana. As you probably already know, the United States is a very diverse country with people from many different backgrounds who speak many different languages. In fact, there are over 400 languages spoken in the United States. Not surprisingly, English is the most widely spoken language, with about 239 million native speakers. The second most widely spoken language in the United States is Spanish, with about 41 million native speakers. But I wonder what the third most widely spoken language in the United States is. I know that in Minnesota, Somali is the third most widely spoken language at home. And in Illinois, Polish is the third most widely spoken language at home. But the question I have for you is, which language, after English and Spanish, which language is the third most widely spoken language in all the United States? Good luck.
Okay, do you have, any of you have the answer for his question? So what is the third popular language in the US? you can raise your voice. You know what? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Chinese, right? So students have a chance to. Sorry for one of you raise your hand. Chinese is one of Chinese is the correct answer. And you know, in this project, students have the chance to listen to different Englishes throughout the world. So they also can see different teachers, so hear different voice, so they will feel they will know what English is. And that's it, the third project we have done, and it's really fun. And then the teacher all around the world really like it because they can see and hear each other again for a long time, learning together. Now, I just shared you some global project. Let's move to internationalization. So there are various definitions of internationalization, but in our school, I narrow it down to the collaboration in teaching among global educators. And there are some benefits of internationalization, like students have authentic learning environment because they can use the language in the real life situation, and they can have more purposes to learn English so that they can learn better, because if they want to learn, no one can stop them from learning. And third, we can exchange custom and tradition among many countries, so they have a very good chance to learn. And you can find internationalization in some programs like Fulbright program, ETA or FSP. ETA is English Teaching Assistant. They will work for your school 1 year. And Fulbright Specialist program, they will work for your school 4 to 6 weeks. So you can apply for this one. So you can bring American people to your school. And you can also apply for English Language Fellow program. Every month they will come to your school to train the teachers and teach students. And another organization, the Peace Corps, is really helpful because they focus on teaching English, and then American people will come to your school in 2 years. This is some organization that you can apply for American people to come to your school to teach English with you. And look at the internationalization in our school from 2017 to 2020. So Michael and Avery, ETA, English Teaching Assistant, they worked for our school for 1 year. Sean and Leah are fellows. So they came to our school every month to help us. And then the students are really appreciate because they have foreigner to talk to and teach them. Okay, and our school, we also have a teaching network in 22 countries. Those are the one I learned with in Indiana. And I come to my conclusion after sharing with you some of my learning experience, my activity in our school, and internationalization. So the first one, internationalization can bring you the colorful student life because they can attend a lot of activity, events, games, and they meet new people, new teachers every year. And they will learn better because they have the motivation. The internationalization make learning fun, and so their learning will be very effective. And the last one, we have students develop their critical stand on the world around them. If we can't do it, we fail to prepare students for their future life. So that's my conclusion. Thank you for listening to me. And if you have any question or if you need any help, just email me with that email. Thank you very much for listening to me. If you have any question, just raise your voice.
Thank you, Ms. Phương, for your informative presentation. Yes, I think that internationalization is a new and interesting topic. It suggests a new way for teachers to connect their classrooms to the world and to help the students see how English is used in real life situations, and to help them improve their language proficiency. Now we come to the Q&A session. Please raise your voice, unmute yourself and raise your voice, please. We have Sorley Cho. Can you please unmute yourself and raise your voice? Or you can put your question in the chat box, please. Cho? Okay, we have a question from
Sorry,
Minh Quốc Nguyễn.
Joe is unmute now. You can ask a question.
I cannot mute.
Yeah, you are unmute now.
Okay. Thank you very much for Ms. Phương just sharing very useful presentation this morning. So I'm Lee from An Giang University, and my question is like, because I see you share your milestone, bring the word to the student, is look like my story. So I hope like many English teacher in Vietnam can learn from you. And I just give short, my question is that like, how can you change from the traditional teaching method to the modern one, and how you inspire by yourself? If in this case, can you share some experience to the Vietnamese student to inspire themselves, to encourage students to learn more effectively English? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. That's a very good one and a very big question. Yeah. So the first one, you asked that how can I change from traditional teaching method to the modern one? So, you know, after learning in the US, and then you can see my teaching philosophy has changed. So the mindset of the teacher changed. If you change your mindset, you will change your the way of your teaching, and then you can learn the new teaching methods in various websites or online courses and books. So the thing you need to focus is change your mindset, and then you need to be a critical teacher. If you care about your students, if you care about their future, you will change. And then the way to change, I just show you that from books, from online courses, and from YouTube, many channels for you to learn. And the second question, how we can inspire ourselves? Is it right? How we can inspire ourselves to be, sorry, can you repeat your question? The second idea.
Okay. Actually, my second question is because I see you inspired by yourself a lot, but
Yeah.
I hope many English teachers in Vietnam can inspire themselves too. And in your experiences, how you deal with the challenges when you just start your inspiration, and how can you help the Vietnamese English teacher inspire themselves in English teaching. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, teaching English like business, we suffer from competition, like very competitive. We need to change. And then I also think every day I also think about my students. I'm worried about their future because like my situation in the past, when I enter university, I feel really shocked because I cannot be compared with the student in big city. So I would like my student feel confident, and they confident. They don't feel scared or they don't feel shocked when they enter the university environment. So every day I try to find new ways to transfer to motivate them to learn better. So I hope that the teachers throughout Vietnam or other countries, if we care about our students, we will find ways to improve our teaching skill and their language competence. And yeah, that's my answer to your question. Hope that is answer part of your question.
Thank you, Phượng. There's another question for you from Ms. Stella Phan. She does the same kind of practice in her classroom, but her problem is only 20%, around 20% of her students take part in the classroom discussion.
Yeah.
So her question is how to involve more students, how to involve more participation from the students in her class.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, you know, our class have 35 students and we have 35 levels of students. So different level of students, it's really difficult to involve all of them. So in this situation, I usually divide classes in groups, in smaller groups, and I give each of them roles to perform. So that everyone in class, they have jobs to do. So they need to participate. And then you need to give them some bonuses and encouragement and compliment so that they feel confident, they feel pleased, and then they feel good to participate. I think so. And you need to create, like every day when I go to school, I think of something interesting first in my warm-up activity, so I can attract their attention, and they feel that they need to participate. And then score is another area that you can use to motivate them to participate in class. Okay.
Thank you. And there's another question from Minh Quốc, who asked about the technical and documentation requirements when they want to set up the project.
Document.
Things regarding technical and documentation requirements.
To apply for, you mean to apply for?
To set up the project, to set up the online teaching, to set up an internationalized classroom. So what do they need in terms of technology or any other kind of documentation requirements?
Yeah, so like for technology, I mean the law, technology and the law. Yeah, technology, like you see, if you want to connect directly to the teacher, you need a TV, a laptop computer, or a lab room like my school. But I think technology is not a big problem, but the relationship between you and the foreign teacher is the most important. So you need to know them, and they need to agree to help them, to help you. So you can set up the co-teaching lesson, or you can ask the student make video to exchange with your school, or you can ask them to record the question for you. So the key things is your relationship. That means you need to know that teacher, or you need to have someone to connect you with that foreign teachers. Okay, and the law, if you want American teacher to come to your school, so you need to do some paperwork. Okay, and this is a little bit complicated, and if you feel interested, I can send you documents, so I'll show you how to apply foreign teacher to your school. They will go to your school to teach. It's more complicated than the you connect them online. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Phương. I think there's an interesting answer coming from Ms. Nguyen from VietTiSol. Her suggestion is you can motivate yourself as a teacher, and you can join communities of practice such as VietTiSol to attend professional development activities such as the webinar we are joining now and other MOOC courses. They're all free, and you can get connected with other teachers and experts.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, I think there are more questions because this is very interesting and new topic, but due to the time limit, so please let me say thank you to Ms. Phượng again. And please let me welcome our next two presenters.
Yeah.
Ms. Lương Thị Hương Trà and Ms. Đào Thị Nga, who will be co-presenting. Lương Thị Hương Trà has been teaching English in an underdeveloped area of Thái Nguyên province since 2006. She's a friendly teacher and is always willing to provide students with support and encouragement. She's interested in exploring new methodologies and engaging students in more practical and active classroom settings. She joins various projects to improve her teaching, and she organizes projects to help her students improve their language and soft skills. She received Fulbright Scholarship in 2019. And Ms. Đào Thị Ngân is a teacher of English at a high school in Bắc Giang, which is a mountainous province in Vietnam. She has 18 years experience in teaching English as a foreign language and attended a lot of courses on pedagogy, especially on methods of teaching English in Vietnam and abroad. She has great passion for teaching and learning English. In 2015, she completed her study for a master's degree in TESOL at VNU, University of Languages and International Studies. Since then, she has had 3 conference presentations. The first one was presented at the second International VietTiSol Conference. The second one was presented at Asia TEFL International Conference in Yogyakarta in Indonesia in 2017. And the third one was a poster presentation at a National English Language Teaching organized in 2019 in Hanoi. Now please welcome our next two presenters, Ms. Trà and Ngân. Please, the floors are yours.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hạnh, for the nice introduction. Hi, everyone. My pleasure to be here today and share with you some of our teaching activities to motivate our students into our teaching. First, let me introduce the content of our presentation today. There will be 3 main parts in our content. In the first part, we are going to discuss some current challenges in teaching reading. And the second main part will be 6 interactive reading activities that we can use in our teaching. And in the last section, we are going to provide you some useful reading sources so that you can use in the daily teaching. Now let's get started with the first part of our presentation, the challenges that you face in the daily teaching, especially in a reading lesson. What are the current challenges that you face in the reading lesson, please, can you log in the link in the chat box? You can open the chat box and log in the link. Huyền, can you please have to send the link into the chat box? So that
Cha, can you paste your link to the chat box?
okay. Okay, Huyền has helped me to send a link in the chat box already. You can click the link and you can share the idea on Padlet so that we can see the common challenges that we may face. You can click on the plus icon here and start writing like this. Like this, and you then click publish. That the answer, the idea will be published here. Yeah, we start to see some of our sharing. Let's spend about 1 more minute so that you can share the idea here. Yeah, thank you so much for the participation in sharing the idea on Padlet. And as you can see on the screen here, we have some common problems like student lack motivation to read the text critically, or student often lack vocabulary so that they find the reading text very challenging, and student lack motivation, etc. So student very lazy to read. Yeah, thank you so much for the sharing. Okay, so let's return to our presentation. So as you can see, the problem as a whole make the reading lesson more challenging and boring to our learners. So that's our role, the teacher role, to prepare more appropriate activity so that we can encourage our students to have them get engaged into our reading lesson. Yeah. So in our presentation today, we are going to share with you 6 reading activities that help our students to interact in our lesson. And the first activity will be reading half the text. And now this for you, Ngân, please.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. And my name is Ngân, and I am a teacher at Yên High School in Bắc Giang Province. And today I'm very happy to share with you some interactive reading activities to help you motivate your student in reading lesson. And the first activity is reading half the text. And yes, the student need to read only half the text at first. To prepare for this activity, the teacher need to prepare a paragraph, a story, or an article, which is no longer than 1 page. And remember that all students will get the same text, and each student will get 1 copy of the text. And from this activity, a student can have a chance to practice skimming skills, which is very important in reading activities. And how to conduct this activity in our class? So when in classroom, the teacher will deliver the text to all the students And when getting the text from the teacher, the student need to fold the text in half vertically, like this. And then the student will skim the text, only half the text, and answer the teacher's question. The question should be a yes, no question or open-ended question. And when answering the teacher's question, the student can make some prediction about the content of the text. After answering all the questions, the student will open the whole text, read the whole text, and check whether their answers are true or false according to the text. And they will realize that they do not need to read the whole text, and they can still gather a large amount of information from the text. That's very amazing. Now look, I would like to invite you to join in the activity with me in this exercise. For example, this is the text I will deliver, and now you get this text. So please fold this text in half vertically, and then skim the text, skim half the text, and answer the 4 questions on the left. Please spend 2 minutes, skim half the text and answer the 4 questions. And you can open the chat box and write your answers in the chat box. Okay, that's an example. Yeah, thank you for your answers. I can see a lot of correct answers here. Thank you so much. And now I open the whole text. Open the whole text, and you can read the whole text, then check your answer. Yes. And of course, the teacher will be the last person to check the answer for all the students. Okay, and they are the answer for the 4 questions. That is the first activity I want to share with you today. And now we move on to the next one, the second activity. Read, question, answer, and check. So there are 4 steps here, right? It's the second activity. Yeah, so to prepare for this activity, what do we have to do? Yeah, the teacher needs to prepare 2 different paragraphs or short passages. And from this activity, students can practice comprehension skill, question formation skills, and evaluation skills. Now let's see how this activity is conducted in your classroom. First, the teacher needs to divide the class into a group of 4, and each group will be divided into 2 pairs, pair A and pair B. Then the teacher will deliver the 2 texts to one group. So pair A will get text 1 and pair B will get text 2. Then pair A read text 1 and write 2 questions based on the content of text 1. And pair B do the same for text 2. After writing the 2 questions, the 2 pairs swap the papers. And then pair A will read text 2 and answer the 2 questions for text 2, and pair B do the same. After that, the 2 pairs swap papers again. And the last step here for the group is pair A will check the answer from pair B and give us some feedback. And pair B do the same. Is it clear to you? Yeah, thank you. That's the second activity. And the next activity is story strips. Story strips. And of course, the teacher also needs some preparation for this activity. The teacher needs a text with enough sequencing clues that make it possible for a rearranged story to be put in order. And the student can practice sequencing skill in this activity. So let's see how we can organize this activity in our class. At home, the teacher needs to do some work. The teacher needs to tie the story here like this, tie the story, and each line or each sentence should be on each line. Then the teacher needs to print the story out on colored paper and cut the line into strips like this. Like you can see here. Okay, cut the story into different strips. Then mix all the strips together. Like this. So the sentence here are not in order. And the task of the student is to rearrange the sentences to make a meaningful story. And now the teacher comes to class, bring the sets of strips to the class, divide the class into groups of 3 or 4, and deliver each group one set of strips. The student will work together and rearrange the sentences to make meaningful story. And the group that finished first can exchange their work with other group, and they can check with each other their work. And of course, the teacher will be the last person to check the correct answer. After that, based on the story, the student can create their own story, and they will feel very interesting to do this activity, and they will feel great. Okay, now another activity for you to join with us here. Please join with us as a learner and do this activity. Please open the chat box and click on the link. And now you can rearrange this story into the correct order. You will know that this activity not only work in our classroom, but also work in an online class. So please spend 3 minutes. I think you need 3 minutes to rearrange all the sentences to make a meaningful story. And who has done this activity? Can you type on the chat box that you have done it or not? And you can see on the screen, we are doing it as an example like this. You drag the sentence and then you drop it in the appropriate space. And when you finish, Okay, you can choose to click to check your work, or you can send your result to the teacher. Okay, that's the way we conduct this activity in our class, online class or offline class. Okay, that's the three first activity that I share with you today. I hope that they are useful to you in your lesson. And now let's move on to the fourth activity. Chai is with you now.
Thank you so much, Ngân, for the sharing. Let's continue our sharing with the next activity. The first activity is reading race. Have you ever heard about this activity, or have you ever organized this activity to those students in the class? I like this activity because my students not just read the text, but they can compete among the groups in our class, so that they feel very motivated. So the material that we need to prepare for our students before class is any text that's suitable for our student levels of English. And in class, students will practice their scanning skills, which is very important for the reading test. So how to organize this activity? I would like to make an example with the new textbook series that we use now for our students, that Unit 6, gender equality, and in the reading skills, we have activity 5, that students have to read the text and answer the question. So before class, I will type out the question here and cut the question into strips. And I bring the strips into class. And in class, I put students into groups. And then in each group, one member will come to you to get the first question, then return to that group and work together to answer the question. They will find the answer and then write the answer on the paper strip. After that, the paper strip will then return to the teacher by another member of the group. And the teacher role here is to check if the answer is correct. So if the answer is correct, the teacher will give the group member the next question. But if the answer is incorrect, the teacher must ask the group member to return to the group and try to find the answer again. The process is repeated until the first group to answer the question and become the winner. We can give some award for our students to motivate them, such as some small gifts or some plus point for the test. That's very motivating. That is the fourth activity. And this is the next activity: read, tell, listen, and tell. We need to prepare 4 different stories or 4 paragraphs, but should not be too long. We need to choose which suitable for our student. And our student can practice comprehension, summarizing, retelling, memory recall skills. In class, we put students into groups like this. Maybe in each group, we have 4 students, student A, B, C, and D. And we give each student a different text. All students will read their text silently. After reading, a student will put their story in a place where they can't see them again. And then student will be paired. Student A will work with student B and student C will work with student D, like this. And in here, student A will explain the story to B and B will listen carefully. And student C will explain the story to D and D will listen carefully. And the process is trust. Now, B will tell the story to A and A will listen. Then D will tell the story to C and C will listen carefully. When they finish sharing, students will come to their groups again, their original groups again. And this time, students will work in groups. Then they take turns to tell the story that they have heard from their group member. A will tell the story that I heard from B to the entire group, and B will listen carefully to check and whether they need to give any necessary correction. And then B tell the story that B heard from A, and A will offer any necessary correction. This activity is not only help our students to improve their reading skills, but also help our students to improve their listening. They have to listen from their friends and also improve their speaking skills. So they feel very, very interesting. Not that sit silently and read the question, read the text and answer the questions. Do you think you can use this activity for those students in the future? Yeah. And the next activity that we need to say here is jigsaw. It's also an activity that I often use in my class. So the material that we need to prepare here is an article or a story. And in class, our students will have a chance to practice comprehension, summarizing, retelling, memory recall, and collaboration skills. Firstly, before class, we need to cut up a text into equal parts so that each member of a group will have one part of the text. For example, here I have a group of 3 students, so I will cut the text into 3 parts. And each member will read that part silently without sharing any information with the other member of the groups. And when they finish reading the part, our student will be mixed with another group. Group 1 will be mixed with group 2, and student will move to find their student will have the same part with them. For example, student A will find that student in a new group that has a section A, and student B will work with student B like this. And in the new group, they will work together and make a summary of the section. Student A will work with A, student B will work with B to make the summary of their own section. After making the summary of their own section, they will return to their original groups and they will give the summary to create the text. And as a follow-up activity, we can ask our students to answer some comprehension question. So teacher need to create some comprehension question before class, or student can have some discussion based on the content that student have read from the text. That's the way we keep the conversation going and motivate our students to read so that they can get the content of the text for further discussion after the reading. That's all about our 6 interactive activities that we often use in our teaching. If you find them interesting, you can contact us so that we can support you later in the daily teaching with the activity. And in the next section, we are going to recommend some useful sources for reading material that you can use. You can download the material from the sources and adapt them into your daily teaching.
Yes, and now let's open the first link so that the participant can have some ideas. Okay, as you can see from this website, you find many free texts and you can download them for your class. And the texts here are divided to different levels from level A1 to C1. And you can easily find the suitable sources for your class or for your activities in your reading lessons. Or you can assign this one activity for your student as a homework directly on this website because they have a design exercise already here. It's very convenient for us as a teacher to assign the student as the homework. Okay, now let's go to American English state.gov. I use this website frequently because it provides us with all the skills materials, speaking, reading, listening, and writing. And from this website, you not only can download the PDF text, you can also download audio files so that you can send them to your student and ask them to do it at home, to practice more at home. It's very useful, very interesting. Or you can even copy all the MP3 file here into your USB, and you can listen anywhere, listen to it anywhere. Okay, there are some useful websites that we want to share with you. And of course, if you want to get this website, you can open the chat box and we will send it there for you. And if you want to get all the PowerPoint file, we will send it to you. Please contact us. So that's all about presentation today. Thank you for your listening. And if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand.
Thank you, Ngan and Cha, for very interesting ideas for teaching reading. Yeah, I believe that reading is very important language skill. And if our students read a lot, not only their reading skill itself, but also other language skills will benefit from it. But as reading teachers, we all share the same problem, as our students have very low motivation for reading. So I believe that the activities you have suggested will give some ideas for us to motivate our students to read, because they create meaningful reason for reading. Thank you. Now we move to Q&A session. Please raise your voice or type your question in the chat box. We have a question from Joe. Joe is raising her hand. Can you raise your voice, please?
Joe is unmute now.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear my voice now?
Yeah, very well.
Good morning, Ms. Tra and Ms. Ngân. Your sharing is very useful for English teacher. So my question is, because I see you share very details about the technique of teaching reading for students, but I wonder that these techniques you just share, this is you apply in the physical class or online class. This is my first question. And the second question is, some techniques you use in your teaching reading. This is for students from secondary school or like high school, because I also teach for the primary student schools. So is it okay to use this technique? And I'm also curious about how to use the Padlet tool, because it's more technical with a computer. So how can I help my student, especially in the primary, secondary school? Thank you very much.
Thank you for the interesting question, Joe. I think some of our activity here can be applied into online teaching. For example, you can see from our sharing, the first activity, reading half the text, we can create it online. When we teach online, we can cover the half of the text and ask our students to answer some questions before we uncover the text and check our student understanding the whole text. And even the story strips. And the other activity, if we want to create online, like the read questions, listen and tell. For example, we need more technical abilities, technical skills, so that we can organize. For example, we can use Zoom so that when we group our students, we need to put them in breakout room so that they can discuss together. But I think it's more complicated to organize the other activity online.
What about applying them to the primary teaching context?
Yeah, I think we can because the primary student very active and they like to take part in these activities very much. But we should choose the suitable material for our student, not the too long text. We should use that short story, for example, a story with that 3 or 4 sentences, and we ask them to rearrange the 4 sentences to make a meaningful sentence. That's suitable for a primary student.
Any other questions, please?
Short.
A lot of our students, a lot of our participants also ask to paste the link to the chat box so they can.
Oh yeah, I will paste the link right now. I have then sent the link for the teaching material that you can use for the daily teaching, so that you can copy the link and save it for the use in the future.
Okay, so please let me say thanks again to our 2 presenters. And now we've come to the last but not least presenter, Ms. Lê Thị Tâm. Lê Thị Tâm is a teacher of English at Hương Khê High School, which is located in a mountainous area in Hà Tĩnh, Vietnam. She has an MA degree majoring in teaching English from Hanoi National University, College of Foreign Languages, and has 13 years of experience in teaching high school students in remote areas. In 2018, she got a scholarship from Fulbright Tea program and had a 6-week course at California University, Chico, America. After the course, Ms. Tâm has implemented different activities to better English teaching in her hometown. In 2019, she was awarded a grant by the US Department of State to carry out TPRS project in her district. In 2021, she got the first prize for teaching excellence in Hà Tĩnh province. Ms. Tâm is an enthusiastic and passionate teacher who always wishes to foster students' English learning. She also wishes to learn from and share with other teachers to improve English language teaching. Her presentation today is about activities to promote students' motivation for learning English. Please welcome Ms. Lê Thị Tâm.
Thank you, Ms. Isang, for the nice introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lê Thị Tâm, and I'm a teacher of English at Hương Khê High School, which is located in a mountainous area in Hà Tĩnh, Vietnam. And in 2018, let me please wait for a moment. I got a scholarship from Fulbright Tea program and had a 6-week course at California University. Here's a nice picture that I took at the university. And after the course, I learned a lot from the program. So after the course, I have implemented different activities to better my teaching English in my hometown. And in my presentation today, I am going to share with you some extra activity to foster students to learn English. So how to motivate students to learn English is a big question for every English teacher. And I know that you all here have applied different activities in order to increase student motivation in learning English. In my presentation today, I would like to add some more activities that I have applied successfully in my hometown. And the presentation will be divided into 3 main parts. The first one will be the rationale. The second part will present the activities to foster student motivation for learning English. And the last part will be the conclusion. Now, let me start with the first part, the rationale. As you know, English has long been a global language, and it is considered as a language of communication. In Vietnam, we are opening up to the door of globalization, so English has become more important. As you can see from the picture, English can help you to have a good job. It can help you to have promotion. It can help you to study. It can help you to have a high salary. It can help you to go abroad to study or to live. So English is very important, and it is a key to open the door of the future for our children. However, the quality of learning English in Vietnam is still an issue for our educators, especially in remote areas in Hà Tĩnh province. Teaching becomes more difficult. During many years of working, I myself have found out objective and subjective causes leading to the poor quality of learning English, and lack of motivation is one of the main causes leading to the poor result of English learning. Not many students in our in remote areas have seen the importance of learning English, or they have lost their basic background knowledge from their lower classes. So they find the lesson difficult and they are discouraged from learning the subject. So since then, besides trying to give interesting and in-depth lessons, I have carried out different activities to foster students to learn English better. And why is motivation important? Theoretically, educational researchers have claimed that learning motivation also plays an important part in student learning. For example, motivation is considered as one of the most important factors affecting efficiency of performances. According to Kane et al. 2014 or Turan 2015, or motivation is one of the most important factors deciding student continuous achievement, according to AKIS 2015, ALUMNI and AKC 2012, Hua et al. 2010. In practical terms, fostering motivation to learn English has been applied nationwide. We have official correspondence from our Ministry of Education and Training and our Department of Education and Training of Hà Tĩnh Province, guided to build and develop a learning environment and using foreign languages for all students. Therefore, motivation is proved to be very important, and that's why I have carried out different activities to foster students to learn English. What did I do exactly? Let me move to the main content, the second part, the main content, the activities that I have applied. I have organized 4 main activities to foster students to study English better, including regular English club, English programs in school weekly meetings, English competition among classes, and voluntary English teaching. Now, let me start with the first activities. Outdoor English Club. It has been claimed that outdoor activities play an important part in student learning and development. Therefore, from the beginning of the school year, I set up a plan of English Club with different activities like drama, games, English speaking contest or writing essay contest, singing contest, and quizzes. And we organize English club based on different principles. The first principle is regularities. Instead of just organizing a big English club activities for the whole year, as some schools are doing, right from the beginning of the school year, we have planned to organize English club on a regular basis, maybe 10 times a year, and at least to 8 to 10 times a year. That's why, unlike other schools, we often have English club number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, etc. That is the first principle. And the second principle of our organizing English club is suitable content. So we need to make sure that the content of the English club is not too easy or not too difficult, so that students can understand and follow. In the early days of establishment of our English club, the members who signed up to join the club was mainly good students. However, our target student is not only good student, but for the most student. So in order to encourage students to take part in the English club more and more, we always keep the principle that the content is not too difficult and make sure that students involved can understand and get engaged. Furthermore, the content of the activity should be funny and relaxing, with activities such as music, games, plays, presentation, so that we can avoid boredom from the participants. That is the second principle. And here is a picture that the students are doing ring the golden bell. Or this is a picture that students are doing playing a role in a play. And this is a picture that the students are doing another game in a song. I have talked about the second principle. The third principle that we apply to our English club is encouragement. So we always encourage students to take part in English club. And bonus is always a big motivation for the participants. So we often give them awards if the student take part in the English club efficiently and enthusiastically. Even we can ask the teacher of English to give them mark 9 or mark 10 for the subject if the student take part in the English club efficiently and enthusiastically. So I have talked about the first activities, English club, with 3 principles: regularity, suitable contents, and encouragement. Now, let me move to the second activities. English program is in weekly school meetings. So in addition to our English club, we also advise our school to organize English program in school weekly meetings. As you may know, not all the students at our school attend our English club activities. So to have more students to have chance practicing English, we organize English program in weekly school meetings on Monday mornings. Not every week, but maybe twice a month or once a month. And in this session, we often have different interesting activities such as English quizzes, English song performances, role playing, etc. That is the second activities. And the third activities I apply to foster students to learn English better is English competition among classes. So to foster students to learn English better, we have organized different activities, a different competition to motivate students to learn English better. For example, we organized competition to write stickers in English on the occasion of Vietnamese Teachers' Day. In this competition, we have 100% of classes participating in the competition. And the competition not only encourages students to use English, but also educate them to express gratitude to their teachers, as well as to help them to develop their creativeness or poster designing skills. Here's some nice picture from the competition. And another example of competition is Olympic national competition. Our school is located in a mountainous area and it is very weak score in terms of English input. However, we, the group of English teachers, have guided and encouraged students to take part in this competition. So this is a result. We rank the 64 nationwide and the 10 in the province. I have a talk about the third activities. And the last activities we applied to force the student to learn English is voluntary English teaching. Understanding that one of the reasons leading to the poor learning English at higher level is that students do not have condition to study English and to get familiarized with English before they start grade 3 English program in primary school. And since then, they keep getting worse and worse in the subject. I established a voluntary English teaching program with the aim of helping elementary students to get acquainted with English before they enter to grade 3. To make their program effective, first I made a detailed little plan. And after that, I selected 15 volunteers. These volunteers are excellent high school students in English. And most of them get the provincial prize for excellent student. For example, this guy, he has got an IELTS certificate with band 8. And after selecting this volunteer, I had some training sessions to train volunteers how to motivate, to train volunteers how to teach children and how to work with children. Then I contact with the Department of Education and Training in my hometown for guidance and advice to know which school to be helped. And my first volunteer program was carried out last summer. 63 lessons were given to more than 200 students in 3 primary schools in their hometown. In the program, we taught English very simple basic like colors, numbers, ratings, or names, etc. However, what we want more here is to motivate them to learn English better, to make them love English and to help them to have passion to learn English better. So besides giving the free lessons, we also organize some outdoor activities and give them bonus to make them more motivated. Here's some nice picture that we give them some bonus, some small bonus. In addition, not only learners benefit the program, but I think the group of volunteers also benefit from the program because it is a great opportunity for the learners, for the volunteers to have a rewarding summer experience. Through the program, they learn to love, to share, to help each other, to be responsible for the development of the community. And what is more, taking part in the program can help them to develop their social skills, such as communication skills, teamwork, or leadership. So taking part in voluntary English teaching not only help children to study English, but also help the volunteers to improve their life skill. That is very essential for the future. I have to talk about the 4 activities that I implemented to foster students to learn English beside their outside the class. And Now let me move to the conclusion. Learning a foreign language, acquiring a language is a long process. And to see the result change, we also need some time. However, to evaluate the effectiveness of my activities, I use two methods, observation and survey. And through observation, I realized that these programs somehow motivate students to learn English better. They get more confidence and passion to learn English. Furthermore, I also did some surveys on the attitude toward the program. And most students and teachers and parents commented that the program are useful. They make the student have more confidence and motivation to learn English. So from the learning attitude, from the positive feedback of the students, parents, and teachers, I believe that the activities and project I work on has certain positive effects on teaching English. So I would like to share with you, and I hope that it can somehow help to better teaching English in the country to share with you. Thank you so much for your listening.
Thank you, Ms. Tam, for your nice idea on motivating our students. I believe that motivation is very important in learning, and without it, learning doesn't take place. Now we move on to Q&A session. Please raise your voice to ask questions.
Okay, so Joe, you have to raise your voice. Can someone unmute her, please?
Okay. Sorry for a lot of questions this morning because I cannot stop my question with the interesting topic. As you see this morning for the opening, Dr. Grissom just gave all of us about a whole theory, and it's very related to the motivation that you share, but she still not answer my question. So I bring my question to your presentation. And hello, Ms. Tom, I see you share about the motivation bring to the English class, and I'm really interested in this. And I know that from the theory, we have the two kinds of motivation, like internal and external. And you just give us like 4 activities to bring the motivation to students. So my question is because during the activities, you bring the motivation to student, but how can you sustain the motivation for your students? And the second question is, if we want to bring the motivation to class or even the student, and I see you just show up a lot of activities, but I think about the finance, about the money, the funding. So it's a very important factor. So how can you sustain, and where you get the finance or the money to sustain the motivation to your activities? So thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe, very much for your, I think that you paid attention really hard, and you have very interesting questions through the webinar today. So you have 2 questions, right? The first question is how to motivate students to...
How you sustain the motivation for students. Sustain, that means keep the maintain the motivation, because of some students very the beginning atmosphere of the class, they feel very motivated, but after that, like for example in the English speaking club, so for the first time I see my students are very motivated, but after that, after like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and they stop with the motivation. So how can you help them like sustain, maintain the motivation? So this is my first question.
Okay, thank you so much. So let me answer the question. The first question is how to maintain the student motivation through the long term, for the long term, all right? Yes. I think that is very important, because some students can maybe, as you said, some students may be very motivated in the activities for the first time, but they can get bored after that. And to motivate them, I think we have to do some steps. The first one is to give them interesting programs. So the contents should be changeable. We should change activities, and we should have some activities that can help them to relax and motivated. Furthermore, I think that after they attend the activities and they are motivated for the first time, they will get, they can learn English better. And when they learn English better, they will not feel that English is difficult anymore, and they will have a long term, they will be interested in the subject for a long term. And the second question is the finance. I know, yeah, especially for the English voluntary English teaching. Yes, actually I spent a small amount of money on the project, but not too much, because you know, for example, when I train the volunteers to how to teach the children and how to work with children, I did it myself. So no money at all. And there's a small money to give words to the student, like pens, pencil, or notebooks, and it doesn't cost much. I also spent some money as a reward to the volunteers, but I think it is not
long term.
Yeah, and it is not compulsory. For example, for my group, after they did the volunteering teaching, I paid them a short trip to a resort for a day. We visited we visited some historical places in my hometown, and then we moved to the beach, a resort, to stay for 1 day. And on that day, I spent maybe not too much, but less than 10 million. And that is not compulsory. I think the money to spend on the voluntary English teaching is mostly for the bonus for the small student. At least it's not compulsory too. And you can use very simple present like pencils or notebooks. It's not it doesn't cost much. Okay.
But I think that is for long term. You cannot do that.
Yeah, I know.
And
yes.
you know, because many English teachers, they are very dedication. And like me too, I spend the amount of money per year for,
yes, let me tell you.
Yes, but
Okay.
how can you get the funding to get the activity for long term?
Yeah, you know, if you want to, I myself intend to carry out this program for a long term. And I think, in my opinion, I think that I can raise funds from many people. If I write about the project and I ask for help, a lot of old students, ex-students of our school will be willing to help, to donate. I will ask them. For example, some students who isn't living in my hometown, but they are very successful, and I will help them to help the children to learn English better. So I think that they will be willing. And I myself have some students and some of my friends ask me about the fund they are willing to give me. So I think that if you are trying to do something good for the community, many other people will want to get involved too. So don't worry about that. I think so. And I think that you will do it well if you want to do it. Okay, any more questions?
So if we have no more questions, let's go to the end of our session today. Finally, on behalf of Rilo and Vietiso and our audience in this session today, I would like to say thank you again to our presenters for your sharing and for your discussion. And thank you all our audience for your active participation. And hopefully we have more opportunities to share and learn from each other in the future. Please follow Relo and Vietkiso at our fan page and website for more information about future PD events. Thanks again and wish you all the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hạnh and other participants for the participation today.